Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sportsballin, your home for all things sports. My name is Ethan Markham, and as always, I'm joined by Connor Smith and Jace Vincent. You guys ready to talk some ball?
Absolutely, man. This is my favorite days of the week, getting to talk ball with my guys. Let's get after it.
And as Kawhi Leonard would always say, indubitably.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and jump right on into the action. It's college baseball season, and the Blue Raiders are off to a hot start, riding a 3-game winning streak after sweeping the FDU Knights this past weekend, along with Trace Phillips being named Conference USA Pitcher of the Week. How do you guys expect the Blue Raiders to keep up this early momentum?
You know, I think it's going to go as far as the bullpen goes. You look at the starting pitching, Trace Phillips, Chandler Alderman, Drew Horn, .83 ERA through the first 6 starts. It's crazy. Offense is certainly one of the best in Conference USA, but the question is the bullpen. They've given up 24 earned runs so far this season. The team will go as far as the bullpen takes them.
And that's really, I think, what needs to be fixed off of last year's team. And we saw it in the Bowling Green series, really, where they had those leads and then they just kind of like gave it away. You're really hoping to fix that, and I think that's what they can fix with this bullpen. Trace Phillips, especially, Conference USA Pitcher of the Week now, posting straight zeros in the ERA. .92 whip and 17 strikeouts through 12 innings pitched. I think he's definitely one of the more underrated arms in the country and can definitely win like a Pitcher of the Year award within the Conference USA. But even, I think this team could easily be the best team under Jerry Myers with that offense powered with an even better pitching staff this season.
Absolutely, and that's really where they have to make improvements. I don't remember the exact number, but we were talking about it the other day. They had, how many blown saves was it last season?
I want to say around like 13, 14 blown saves in like the 7th. It really is. It really is. And like that's the sad thing was offense under hitting coach Kevin Nichols always going to be really good. It's really good this year. They didn't really have the starting pitching last year. They developed Trace Phillips, returned Alderman, and then got Drew Horn from Walter State Community College, big JUCO. Just like I said, a big issue is the bullpen. If they can figure that out, this team is a regional team. And you might look at me like I'm crazy. I'm really not. This team has so much talent, but it's hard to project where they're going to be because of the bullpen. They're either a regional team or they're 20-36.
And I think they're really building off of it. They had the powers on their offense last year, especially Trace Phillips being that utility guy. You had Briggs Rudder behind the dish, really. And I think really Evan Snyder really coming out of center field, really being able to early on this season show off that offensive power, really to go along with what he brings on the defensive side in center field. Really, also as a veteran body, has done a great job as well, and that offense is always going to be there for Middle Tennessee. And I just think that especially they could make CUSA a 2-bid league with Dallas Baptist really coming in there. They're already going to be they're already in the top 25, but I think that if a team like MTSU can come along, especially with what they have on the pitching side to go along with what they have on offense, can make CUSA a 2-bid league.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned Eston Snyder. I mean, he had 3 home runs this past weekend, including a grand slam. He's just been tearing it up.
I said Evan, but I meant Eston.
Dude, I forget the exact number, but he's batting over 500. I think it's like 546, 3 home runs, like 15 RBI. That dude's raking at the plate. And the thing that's even more impressive is he's a leadoff guy. Usually those leadoff guys don't get a whole lot of RBI because they're just getting on base. This guy is actually one of the biggest RBI contributors to the team.
You know who else is one of the biggest RBI contributors in the country last year as a leadoff?
Who's that?
Christian Moore.
I don't know if we can compare those two yet, but
I'm not comparing. But I'm saying leadoffs can be in that factor.
We'll now move from the diamond to the ice as MTSU hockey has won their first conference championship in program history after defeating the USF Bulls 4-0. This accomplishment comes as no surprise as the Blue Raiders have been on fire all season long. Guys, what are your thoughts on this great season for MTSU hockey?
I mean, I think it's a great accomplishment, as you said, 22-6 this year. If you look at just not even their conference, but like the entire league they're in, tied for the #1 record in that league in the Sky Hockey League. So I mean, big season for them. They were snubbed last year of a regional, so it's good to see them out on top right now.
And I'm going to be excited to really watch this team when they get to nationals, really being able to come out of a tough conference, being teams like USF, Tampa, really just the level that they've been able to outscore their opponents in their conference tournament has just been really exciting to watch. It's been a fun team to watch all year across all of club hockey really in the country, D2 level. Middle Tennessee's been an exciting team to watch, and it'd be even more exciting to watch them in nationals, bringing that powerful offense really to the ice.
Absolutely. You've got some great playmakers on that offense, as in their last game it was Yesnak and Palmer, who both had 2 goals apiece. They've just been dominant all season.
Yeah, you got those 2 guys, but also Brennan Ogle, who right now ranks 3rd in in their conference in points. I mean, 4 of the top 15 guys for points in the league are from MTSU. Like he said, big, powerful offense, outscored their opponents in the conference tournament 14-3. This is a team that I think can make some real noise in nationals.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that defense has been great as too. They've got some great goalies and some great defensive men. It's really tough to score on that team.
Yeah, I mean they pitched a shutout against USF, and then besides that, only 3 goals in 2 games. Obviously, you want to score as much as you can, right? But in any sport, if you don't have the defense to not let teams score on you, it doesn't matter. So when you combine that defense with their offense, it's a dangerous combo.
Absolutely. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got NBA basketball and an ongoing investigation at Fresno State.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of you or your families, asking you to put yourself in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep you secure for the rest of your life. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
This is how you say, "It's going to be okay," to someone who just lost everything. That yes, we'll find you somewhere to stay. And yes, your children will have breakfast. Every 8 minutes, the Red Cross responds to a disaster and makes this promise. Help us keep it.
A smile. It's simple, really. Yet, it can do amazing things. It can show how we feel. It can brighten someone's day. It can even change the course of our lives. But what would life be like if you weren't able to smile? For more than 1 million children, this is their daily struggle. It doesn't have to be this way. Since 1999, Smile Train has been helping children experience the simple joy of a smile that so many of us take for granted. To learn how you can help Smile Train change the world one smile at a time, call or go to smiletrain.org/learn.
Last night, the Memphis Grizzlies dropped a close game against the Cavs, losing 123-129, even with strong offensive performances from Jaren Jackson Jr. and John Morant. But despite losing 3 of their last 4 games, Memphis is still tied for second in the Western Conference. Guys, what do the Grizzlies have to do to keep up in their race against Denver?
I mean, they got to rebound better. You look at this game, they shot better than the Cavaliers. They had less turnovers, more three-pointers, but they got out-rebounded 57-37. If you get out-rebounded by like a couple here and there, you can make up for that. But whenever you're out-rebounded by 20 boards, you're not going to win games. I mean, you also can't expect to go any farther than a first-round exit if you can't defend the glass and get boards.
And the offense was there for Memphis. Obviously put up 123 points, having 6 guys in double figures, Jackson Jr. and Morant hitting 22 and 21. But even then on offense, you had Desmond Bane, should have been able to win without the struggles. 2 of 13 from the field, 0 of 7 from 3, and had 7 points. And even for Cleveland, really, Donovan Mitchell having 33, Ty Jerome, Virginia legend, 26 off the bench. Really, I think is really what put Cleveland over, along with the boards they were able to get with Evan Mobley having a lot of boards and having a 30-point night. I think this really was able to help Cleveland, and really what hurt Memphis was just not being able to have an answer for Evan Mobley, especially you would have Zach Edey in that position, but he just really was a non-factor in that night.
Yeah, and like Connor mentioned, he just wasn't rebounding, know, and that's why you go out and you get somebody who's, I don't remember exactly how tall he is. But
he's like 7'6". He's 7'5", 7'4", 7'6".
You can't rebound with that. I mean, how do you expect to play? How do you expect to win games if you can't rebound?
You can against elite teams. Elite teams rebound, and whenever you get out-rebounded by 20 boards, why you got a guy like Evan Mobley who can put 25 on you and then grab 13 boards, you can't win those kind of games. You have to rebound, got to protect the paint, and they did not do that against the Cavaliers. And
that was the whole point of the draft, really, for Memphis, was getting Zach Edey, getting a guy so you don't have to rely on Triple J to really go out there and be the center. You have a guy that's finally over 7 foot in that position. and he's just not able to really get that answer really on the side really for them. The whole point of the draft and getting a top 10 pick in a guy like Zach Edey.
Absolutely. The whole goal was to have somebody who could rebound. Fresno State men's basketball is in the midst of an ongoing investigation for potential ties to sports gambling, as it's been alleged that members of the team have been placing bets on games that they were playing in. Fresno State has announced that they're suspending both Jalen Weaver and Zayon Collins, along with removing Michael Robinson from the team entirely. Guys, if it comes out that these players did in fact place bets on their own games, what do you see the outcome being?
I think it should be a permanent ban to college basketball. I mean, for one thing, that's illegal. You have insider trade, but they were betting on the under for points and rebounds. You're purposely selling your team. Not only are you trying to do something that's illegal and make a little extra cash, but you're putting your guys in a bad spot. I don't know how you can do that. Just someone who played 13 years of competitive sports, not even college sports, just high school and middle school. You know, like that's your team, that's your brothers. How can you give up on your guys and just say, you know what, I'm going to get an extra $50 because whatever, this team's in a bad spot anyways, I don't care.
And what's funny is that they're 5-23 overall, but they're, funny number here, Fresno State, although they're 5-23, 17-11 against the spread this year. But I just think that gambling as a whole, not even for just athletes, I just think it's ruining sports as a whole, in my opinion. It makes people think that one of the games are rigged, even though that they're not, because their team sucks probably. But I just think that's the problem with gambling. It's such a widespread thing now that it's just bad. We saw it a couple years ago with Iowa State when they were betting the under. Those players were betting the under in that Iowa State game. I just don't want to keep factoring into an issue of all sports across the board, which unfortunately it is. But I mean, yeah, that's just, I think it's gambling as a whole, from sports fans to athletes to coaches to administration. I just think that's all around the issue in sports, along with some of NIL, transfer portal, but that's another thing. This is about gambling.
I was going to say, mentioning NIL, let's say this comes out and it's something that's going on at a lot of other schools, right? Mm-hmm. How do you think that's going to affect teams and their willingness to spend NIL on players?
Are you saying like them spending money, like their NIL money on gambling?
No, well, I mean, that's the thing. You're giving them the money that they're probably gambling.
See, that's the thing why I don't understand, because even though you're not like a Kentucky, UNC, you're still getting really good money. You're getting probably $2,000 a month, whatever the number is. I don't know, but there's no reason to be doing that. And like you said, it's going to make them worry about giving the money out, because they're going to think, well, they're going to just spend money and gamble other places.
Absolutely. We'll take another break from the action, and when we return, we've got our hot takes of the week.
By the time you see the symptoms of lung cancer, it could be too late. Now there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early. If you smoked, get scanned.
We do it. The stars come to Middle Tennessee State University, and students come here to become stars, no matter what they pursue. We do it. We're the only college of media and entertainment in the world, just outside the heart of Nashville.
Look, mic check, 1, 2, everybody listen. When you do it like this, ain't no competition. I'm talking B.I.G., VIP. Treat them like a front row seat and make them pay attention. If I shoot for the 3, then I ain't never missing. Cranking up the degrees like I was in the kitchen. Can't lose, got too much to prove. And when you do it all, it get too hard to do it.
Our curriculum and facilities are cutting edge, and our relationships with industry leaders give students an edge over the competition. Check it out. You can get real-world experience with degrees in recording industry, media arts, journalism and strategic media, and more. Media and entertainment at Middle Tennessee State University.
Welcome back. It's time for our hot takes of the week. Jace, we'll start with you.
Well, my hot take, we're going to start in the volunteer state in college basketball. Going to be 5 teams from this state are going to make the NCAA tournament. 3 of them are already locks. 2 more I'm banking on in the mid-major level. UT, Memphis, Vandy, in, regardless of whatever happens. Chattanooga and Lipscomb, they're going to get in. Now, hear me out here. They're both tied for top in their conference right now, the ASUN and the SoCon. I think they're both going to win. They're both one-bid leagues. I think they're both going to win their conference tournament, make the tournament. I thought about making a little bit of a hotter take, saying 7 with MTSU and Belmont. then I was like, I'm not ready to go. MTSU can win any game or lose any game, but these teams I feel are just really good in the mid-major level and can make the NCAA tournament.
See, I'm going to disagree because your first three that you mentioned, they're already locks. And like, well, really first two. Vanderbilt, you think they're going to be in there, barring anything crazy. But with Lipscomb and UTC, for UTC, you got to worry about UNC Greensboro, and then for Lipscomb, North Alabama. Both, like you said, tied for first in the conference. I don't see it really realistic that both those teams happen to beat up the teams that have already beat them once. So I'm going to say no.
I can see, but I mean, Lipscomb just played North Alabama the other night, and they won in a really exciting game. So I'm going to ride with the Bison. I think that they have a lot of pieces there, really to make things work really there, and make another trip to the NCAA tournament that they did a couple seasons ago. And UTC is always a threat in the SoCon. I think that their one really tough there is UNC Greensboro or Samford. I know Buckyball is really fun and exciting to watch, but UTC.
No.
I don't see it. I think Lipscomb gets in, but I don't see UTC making it in.
My man.
Not a believer.
No, I'm not a believer.
We're not believers.
And we'll now go to Connor's hot take.
My hot take is that regardless of the stats, awards, and his play pre-steroid era with the Pirates, Barry Bonds should be left out of the Hall of Fame altogether. Now, I get everyone's going to say he was the best player in his time because of the home run record, all that good stuff. And, you know, the steroids don't matter because everyone was juiced at that point. And, yeah, you're right, but, like, that doesn't mean it's correct. Everyone that juiced, everyone that cheated should be banned for life from the Hall of Fame because not only is it about being good in your stats, but also it's about the integrity of the game. And by you cheating, that voids the integrity 100%. And also, might I add, Pete Rose is not in there.
Yeah.
Even though he should be.
Yes, he should be, but he's not in there for betting on his own team. So if Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame, then why should Barry Bonds be in there for cheating and using steroids?
But see, that's I think the issue with baseball is that they're not. I think that baseball holds a lot of grudges, like the old people, especially in baseball, that determine that stuff, hold a lot of grudges against people like that. But I'm gonna disagree with you. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't care.
He cheated.
He was an amazing player, amazing hitter before he took steroids. I don't care that his head got 10 times bigger. He was an amazing hitter. He was going to break that home run record regardless if he took steroids.
He was not.
Yes, he was. He was going to break.
not.
Yes,
I don't know about that.
No, he
I don't
was
know about
not.
He was
that.
going to get close.
Okay,
regardless.
I'd say he'd get
Barry
close.
Bonds-
Barry Bonds he should be in Cooperstown.
No,
today.
Barry Bonds never hit more than 40 home runs pre-steroids, and all of a sudden he's hitting 70, 75.
I'll say he was going to get close simply because it still takes a lot of timing. There's a lot that goes into hitting a baseball in general, but I don't think he would have the power to hit that many home runs without the steroids.
Steroids doesn't make you better at it.
It makes it easier.
It makes it easier if you're stronger.
It makes you stronger and it makes you faster. It gives you.
You need some strength to hit some
but
of
it doesn't
those.
make you better. It doesn't make you better at playing baseball.
Well, buddy, he already knows how to hit a baseball. You add 15 pounds of muscle. What do you think is going to happen?
It doesn't make you better, is what I'm saying.
It makes it easier, though.
It makes it easier. It doesn't make him better.
We'll now go to my hot take, and my hot take is that Josh Allen will never win a Super Bowl in Buffalo. I think the Bills are going to continue to let him down in the postseason. If you look at the numbers, his defense in the postseason during the Josh Allen era, the Bills defense gives up 24 points a game. The offense just does not measure up to it at all. You have a lot of moments, like whether that's 13 seconds or the drop from this past season. I just don't think they're ever going to be able to put the right supporting cast around him to win a ring.
Yes.
I 100% agree. I think he's the new generation of Ben Roethlisberger. You know, really talented guy, good offense. He's got the pieces there, just like he had with Stephon Diggs. Now he's got Keon Coleman. But and their defense is star-studded. Just for some reason, when they play the Chiefs or when they get in the playoffs, it's like some kind of magic happens, and they don't know how to play football. It's honestly amazing how you can go from being 13-3, 14-2 every year, and then forget how to play football in the playoffs.
He's Dan Marino.
I wouldn't say it's Ben Roethlisberger because Big Ben has a ring. But, yeah, I agree. Buffalo today is what Buffalo was in the 90s. Super Bowl contenders every year. Going to keep getting to that opportunity in the divisional.
They're choke artists.
But then they're choke artists. Buffalo is going to Buffalo. And I believe Josh Allen's an elite player. MVP, obviously, but they're never going to win a Super Bowl, regardless if they're playing Kansas City, Baltimore, or whoever else feels like being hot in the AFC.
I don't think he'll win a ring while he's in Buffalo. I think eventually he might be able to get out of there and kind of do the opposite of what Aaron Rodgers did, where he goes to the Jets and just goes straight downhill. I think he'll go somewhere else and win, but I just don't think he's going to find a win or find a ring in Buffalo, especially not with both the Ravens and the Chiefs right there in the middle.
Would you say Josh Allen's practically Steve McNair?
I think Josh Allen's way better than Steve McNair.
I think he's kind of like a better Matthew Stafford on a better team.
Yeah.
And then once he gets traded away to like the Rams or like if some point in time it's the Titans in 10 years, and then he wins a ring there, you know.
I wouldn't say the Titans, but we'll be back here in a moment where we'll have our favorite segment. It's Connor's Question right after this.
She makes the sound she makes to calm me down.
Serving the nation's poor and vulnerable regardless of faith, and advocating on their behalf, we are Catholic Charities.
Our favorite segment, Connor's Question. Connor, what do we have this week?
Thanks, Ethan. For the question of the week, if Michael Jordan and LeBron James switch eras, would LeBron still be the GOAT or would Jordan dominate even more? This has been the legendary question for lunch tables for our generation, and everyone said, well, what if you switch the leagues? Because some people think that the 90s are harder, some people think the 2000s are easier. What's your thoughts?
I think Michael Jordan, who I do think is the GOAT, I think he would dominate even more. I mean, look at how many stars LeBron has gotten to play with, and then look at the rings, all right? I just don't I think MJ would dominate even more.
See, I feel like LeBron is physically able to play in the 90s and 80s, and I feel like I would trust him to do that. Not that I'm just Michael Jordan at all. I think Michael Jordan would be an even better scorer. I think he would be able to elevate his three-point game. That was really for his time, but the three-point shot was not that big of a deal. I think he would still have a good defensive presence. I feel like just LeBron, I feel like he would have a better mental headspace to be able to go about things if he was set more in that time than in the 2000s of where he's been playing now. I would ride with LeBron, honestly. I feel like those rings would still come. No. Michael Jordan had a super team around him when he won his rings, but
it was no. If you look at the stats, I forget what it is, but like Michael Jordan played with like 4 All-Stars. LeBron played with like 20. All right.
Yeah, let's look at it. Kyrie Irving, all right, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, now Luka, Anthony Davis. There are so many guys.
LeBron at least made it past the first round without superstars.
I just listed the superstars.
Michael Jordan didn't do anything without Scottie Pippen or Dennis Rodman.
He won 6 rings and he played a lot less games.
He
retired to play a different sport halfway through his career.
And then came back and won a three-peat.
Either one of you, name another player on that 2007 Cavs team that's not named LeBron James, or name another valuable player on the 2018 Cavs team that's not named LeBron James. I'll wait.
Okay.
Are we really going to go off like 2 years out of like a 20-year career. Like
Cleveland was bad
You're
ever
cherry
when Kyrie
picking.
left.
You are cherry picking to the
I'm
highest
not cherry
level.
picking.
You're cherry picking to the highest level. All right.
He's 40 years old and still dropping 45 a game.
Because
that's not his average, but he's dropping it now because Los Angeles is good.
Because all you gotta do is drive in. You either get a free throw or you get an easy floater because no one plays defense. Are you serious?
Look, you know, it's very similar. Remember when he signed with Miami, and what did they say? They said, we're going to win 4 championships. They didn't. They got, what was it? It was 2? All right, you had 3 superstars on one team. That's not something that Jordan ever had. Jordan had Scottie Pippen and then a guy who couldn't score. That was Dennis Rodman.
Essentially a taller Draymond Green, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. And that's another thing. LeBron couldn't beat the Warriors. He got 1 win against the Warriors. Other than that, he really couldn't do it.
It's the same way Michael Jordan couldn't beat the Pistons.
He beat them.
He couldn't beat them until they were all washed. The bad boys were washed and out the door when Michael Jordan finally beat them. Half of Michael Jordan's ring.
That's all we've got for Connor's question, but stick around when we come back for our picks of the week.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
We've now arrived at our final segment of the night, our picks for the week. We'll start things off with our first game, Grizzlies versus Suns.
Give me the Grizzlies to bounce back. I think John Morant has another big game, and they return to the win column.
I agree. I think Memphis gets it done. I know they've lost the last couple of games, but I think Memphis gets back on track here with the win over Phoenix.
I would have to agree with that. I think there's just too much star power for the Grizzlies not to come away with a win.
Yeah.
We'll go to our next game, the number 5 Tennessee Volunteers versus LSU.
Tennessee by a lot. LSU is a bad basketball team. Tennessee has a better roster. They have the better superstars. They have the better coach. I think it may be close the first few minutes just because it's in Baton Rouge, but give me Tennessee by like 20.
Well, it's on the road. Tennessee did win the last road game against Texas A&M, but
hang the banner.
So
hang the banner.
Put the cap on there for that. The play in LSU is absolutely awful. Second to last in the SEC. I'll take Tennessee to win, but LSU to cover because it's on the road.
I would have to agree with that. I think the Vols are just gonna go in there, and it might get off to a slow start, but I think eventually they're just gonna go ahead and steamroll LSU. Go to our third game, the Nashville Predators versus the Florida Panthers.
Panthers, it's not even close. The Predators are having a disastrous season after the offseason hype where they were a top 10 team. I think they lose again, this time to the Florida Panthers.
The Preds, they have a tough week this week. They're playing the Panthers, and then they have the Jets on Thursday. They're going to get blown out in both of those games. The Panthers are just so much better this year than Nashville. I don't know what's up in Nashville, but Florida's going to beat them by however much they feel like.
I don't want us to all pick the same things for every one of them, so I'll take the Preds. I'll say that they come out, get a surprise
Gotta save
win.
the graphic.
Yeah, but it's not gonna set anything new for the season.
Yeah.
We now go to our last game, MTSU versus Austin Peay.
You know, Austin Peay is a very underrated baseball team. They beat Grand Canyon, lost to Arizona State, who's got a lot of star power guys. It's going to be a first-round draft pick by just three runs. They're coming off a sweep of Purdue, Fort Wayne. So I think it'll be close, but give me the Blue Raiders. There's too much offensive power with Tyler Minnick, Brett Von Dolan, Eston Snyder, and others. So give me the Blue Raiders by 2 runs.
I'll take MTSU. Both teams are probably going to hit double figures. I'll take MTSU like 12-10 or something like that.
I'll say the Blue Raiders are going to come out with a pretty convincing win.
Yeah.
Looks like that's all we've got for you today. We thank you for tuning in, and remember to look for all future episodes of Sportsballin on YouTube and Blue Raider TV every week on Tuesday. For Connor Smith and Jace Vincent, I'm Ethan Markham. We'll see you around. Good night.